That actually kind of leads me to the second area that I wanted to talk about and get your feedback on, Tom, at the same time, but just also present to everyone who's here this idea of using audio articles and turning those into a podcast. Now, it's a very different approach than yours, and I think both have their benefits. When you do it like with audio articles, first of all, what audio articles is, just so that everyone's on the same page, is a tool that we have. It's an automated system for turning text articles on the website into mini podcasts. And what we do on our blog, and quite a few of our customers are doing this, they have this little player on every text article, and you can listen to the story. So, this is a pretty dry topic. It's not like what a newspaper would normally cover, but it's like a feature update that we published last week. And basically, I can listen to the article. So just want to give you a teaser of what this sounds like.
Good active sessions with our new logged in feature. Our hometown is happy to announce that we've released a new update granting our customers more control over subscribers visiting their website, most notably the ability to limit subscribers to a certain number of active sessions, serving as a deterrent to prevent readers from sharing their account with friends or family.
Okay, so that's audio articles. So it's basically this robot that's reading the story to you. And so I think the benefit is that it's totally automated. It's very clear and easy to understand, but it's obvious that it's a robot. So there's a trade-off there to having the personality of an actual narrator. Now, what I'm wondering for Tom, would you ever consider using audio articles to supplement what you already do? Because I think maybe in combination they could be a cool combo.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And I mean, I probably sound like a robot sometimes anyway, doing I'm doing my own. But
yeah.
But no, it sounds good. Like you said, it sounds clear, and I do think there are definitely some nights that I'm like, I ran 7 articles that day. The last thing I feel like doing is sitting down even for half an hour to record my whole podcast, and
right.
I just want to go to bed. But so it's nice to have that automated factor, I think, and there's
right.
I'm sure ways you can embed that or different places you can use it. I mean, I think audio books are so popular that it makes sense to look at something like this.
For sure. Yeah. And an audio book, those are very expensive to produce right now. Someone has to sit down and read the whole thing. But yeah, this would be a way to do it on all your stories going forward. And maybe, so like, I didn't mean for this to turn into a session of trying to pitch you on audio articles, but it actually kind of worked out that way. So like, if you're ever interested, I think a hybrid model could be cool because you have like the woman's voice doing the transition between your stories. You could also just have her do a story and then switch back to you,
Yeah. And sometimes, I mean, I feel like kind of sometimes like the Wizard of Oz trying to make the company seem bigger than we are. But,
right. This is the way to do it.
There's some value to that. You want to present the most professional foot forward, and having different voices, different different people can't hurt.
For sure. Yeah, that's exactly why you commissioned to have that intro done by someone different, and why that transition voice is important. So so this is just an idea that we're developing for our own marketing, and that's why I thought I would kind of present it today because it's just so closely related. So on the audio articles player, there's a button to download the audio file. So that's something that all audio article customers should know if you don't already. You can go to the player and hit download. It actually has to be enabled. It's not by default turned on, but that's a feature that's available to you. So your process would be to simply publish your article on the website. So can you imagine doing this, at night, Tom? Like instead of recording, you download the file and then go over to iMovie is what I would use, because then you can get a movie out of it at the same time. And I just figure, why not? And use with a news story, you're going to have so many more interesting pictures than I do. I have one picture on each story, but what I've done is drag the audio article in here, And then I've got a second story here. So let's just watch this. So here's our preview. Now I can just hit
Limited
play.
active sessions with our new logged in feature. Our hometown is happy to announce that we've released a new update granting our customers more control over subscribers visiting their website.
So I've got a little Ken Burns effect where I'm moving on the image.
To a certain number of
it's barely
sessions,
perceptible
serving
because
as a
it's so
deterrent
slow.
to prevent readers from sharing their account with friends or family.
But I don't do the whole story. I just cut it, transition.
Getting people to pick up your paper with Kevin Slim.
And so the Ken Burns is a little more effective there because it's a shorter time period that I'm staying on this image. But this is just the featured image of the story. And then what I'm thinking is that a newspaper that has like a slideshow on their story, they just run the slideshow as the audio article plays,
Yeah, I think it makes sense for folks. And, a lot of this depends on how much time you've got to devote to different things. But I think the cool part is you've got a whole range of opportunities. If you only want to do audio,
exactly,
add to it, you can do that too.
Exactly. Yeah, this is taking it to the final form. You don't need to go all the way in with video, but if you get the process down of just downloading audio articles and stitching them together into a podcast, even if you just did it in GarageBand, that would work great. I always like to take it to the final video form because then you can do anything. Like you can just, edit, share. You can just share the audio, basically, I think. I could just share audio only. So whenever you have video, you automatically have an audio podcast is the only point I like to make there. Okay, let's see here. So just want to check in, make sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, so we string the audio articles together in iMovie or GarageBand. If you do it in iMovie, you can add images from the articles as visuals. Apply the Ken Burns effect to match the narration. So like this is an idea, like if you have a basketball game and you're at the point in the story where they're talking about one player, if you could like zoom in on him, this is the idea here is like the real end form for this would be to hopefully one day be able to automate some of these things. So then we could just, you publish a story on your website and we put together this like draft form and you could kind of like tweak it, but it follows these basic rules of doing, Ken Burns trying to use facial recognition on the story to like figure out who's important. There's a lot of things that, could come of this. But unfortunately you got to do it manually now. And so that's what we do. We just have a video editor that does these things manually for me each week. And from it, he can produce this video, which comes out of it. So this is like the final form video of what would come out of
Welcome to the Our Hometown News Podcast, where we discuss news, events, and tech tips for publishers in the local media industry. You can contact us at our website, www.our-hometown.com, to learn more. Now, for this week's news.
So that's the exact same thing that you have. He recorded that manually, and now he's got this canned intro. And I think the difference would be then you could maybe read your overview in the beginning, then have your ad, and then have the full version of the articles be read by audio articles or something. Like there's a lot of ways that we could do this.
Our hometown virtual conference, getting started with audio podcasts.
Now that actually brings up a neat effect because he adds this effect to make more happen on the screen, where the the bar is moving across the bottom here as the article progresses, and then it reaches the end when that audio article ends and then starts over. But you've got something like that. I think it was on Facebook, right?
Yeah. So one of the things that Buzzsprout does, and again, any of these podcast host sites will do this, is that you can create what's called I guess they call it a visual sound bite.
Right.
So on Buzzsprout, you can just pick like I think up to a 30-second segment of your podcast.
Right.
Very easily just set the beginning spot, set the end spot, and add an image to it, and it creates something like this that you can then post on Facebook or Twitter just to kind of entice people. Like, here's a little snippet of what we're talking about, and here's the link to the whole thing.
Right, right. And this is exactly my point. Like this, they actually enable you. See, they're kind of doing what I imagine doing, but they're doing it in a very simple way. They're creating video from audio for you.
Right.
And it's something that you actually, this is way more interesting to look at than just the featured image, like with a slight Ken Burns effect that I was showing. So that's why I was saying to you earlier, I want to use this. So then this is like your filler. Most of the video could just be this.
Right.
And then if you download this as a full video file, you could then drop in. Would they do the whole episode for you, or is it just 16 seconds that they do?
I think they'll only do up to 30 seconds on their server.
Gotcha.
Others may do longer, but
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean, it's a nice little trim kind of package you can put wherever you want it. It is visually, you know, it gets people's attention.
Right. No, totally. What I would do is take this, drag it into iMovie, and then, you know, put a picture from the story at the beginning, and then go to, you know, switch to this, and then a picture towards the end. It's really cool filler material.